This idea of health being the foundation of everything is where people need to start. So mental health, physical health, spiritual health. I won't go into details, but those are the three quadrants inside health. The second one is wealth, right? You need to be able to, well, in this case, wealth, we're just going to use it for money's sake. But when I talk about wealth, I talk about abundance, a lifestyle of abundance. You need to be able to create an abundant lifestyle. And that means you need to be able to have enough to be able to focus on yourself full time. You don't need $10 billion, right? That's not going to make you happy. You need enough money that your full-time job now becomes developing yourself. Imagine, Sebastian, imagine for 18 hours a day, you just focused on yourself. Mm-hmm. No business, no house, nothing. Like it was all personal. You were just training on yourself. How far ahead would you be of any other person in any realm of human endeavor that you decided to pursue? You'd be so far ahead, it would be unbelievable. So the second one is this idea of wealth. Develop habits that allow you to create a life of abundance. The last one is focus on the things that have meaning and purpose, because a lot of people get caught up by the material bullshit. They get caught up by the system. They get caught up by the things of the world. And when it's all said and done, they die and they're forgotten, and the things that they've built crumble. And I know a lot of people listening, they have existential questions on eternity. They have existential questions on the future of life, and they have concerns. And I think that a fair amount of time of your life should be allocated to the pursuit of what is the meaning of life and why am I here? So I think you have to have health as your foundation of your operating system to continue keeping you alive. I think you need to have wealth, a life of abundance, so that you can be able to operate freely. And I think you need to be able to focus on the spiritual side, be able to focus on things that transcend the day-to-day. And I think that would allow you to live a life of purpose. I would say those are the three. The fourth is not necessarily meaningful, but those would be the three to answer your question.
So for somebody that needs to focus, let's say, okay, so you have health, wealth, and then focus on meaningful things in life.
Health, wealth, and purpose.
Purpose. So give me like 2 ways that somebody, like just actionable things that they can do right now after watching this podcast. How can they focus on their health, get their wealth in check?
So let's talk about health. Right now, everybody needs to stop drinking tap water. Tap water is poisonous. Tap water is poisonous. Purified water, poisonous. It's literally just glorified tap water that they roll up Dasani and all this garbage ass water. Don't drink it, because water is extremely important. Your entire body, most of your body, is composed of water. Why would you not be giving yourself the best source of water to nurture yourself, right? So what type of water do we drink? Aquapana is phenomenal. So spring water, bottled if you can, ideally in glass. And then if not, you can utilize a reverse osmosis machine and a carbon filtration system to clean out your tap water and your showering water as well, which is extremely important. It's a little bit more challenging.
You still absorb it when you shower.
You still absorb it because you're absorbing it through your skin, which is the biggest organ in your body. Most people don't know that. The second thing for health is what you consume, right? Everything that you input is energy. So your relationship with food should not be a relationship based off of emotion. Your relationship with food should be a relationship based off of reason. And reason of what? The reason for eating, right? The reason you eat is to take care of yourself, to energize yourself, to rejuvenate yourself, to keep the operating system working at max capacity. So making sure that the food that you consume is designed to not sabotage your day. I'll give you an example. We have life and your day's divided into 2 cycles, day and night, right? So in the daytime, right, you have cycle 1. At nighttime, you have cycle 2. What you need to do is to make sure that you are preparing yourself for the next cycle, that everything that you eat and you do is setting you up to win in the next cycle. What do I mean? If you eat a cheeseburger at 2 a.m. and you eat 8 chicken nuggets and you drink that iced tea and then you go to bed, you are setting yourself up for failure for the next cycle when you wake up, right? So the food that you consume, the habits that you input, right? They're all going to be based off of making sure that you're setting yourself up to win in the next cycle. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because people are they're like, dude, how can I move up in life? I don't know how to figure it out. But you keep self-sabotaging yourself. Mm-hmm. Every cycle, you keep fucking it up.
It's like tire shoes, maybe you can walk.
So it's about logic, right? And you don't have to view foods with emotion. I know it's a difficult concept. I know it's not easy, guys. Again, it's not supposed to be easy, but it's the truth, right? And people are easy to be like, oh, well, that's crazy. That's too difficult. Everything is difficult at first. Everything is hard to do in the beginning. But you have to get used to it, and you have to develop those habits and those patterns. For wealth, you need to know what money is, right? What is money? Right now, pause the video. What is money? Define it. Most of you guys could not literally define what money is. Oh, well, money is a store of value. Or, well, money is power. No. These are things that money can give you, or attributes of money. But what is money by definition? Who can create it? How much can they create? What gives them the authority, right? All these things, you need to learn them. You need to learn them. Why? Because if you're going to pursue money, you better understand that which you're pursuing. Most of you guys don't have money because you don't understand anything about money. And you don't know what money is. Therefore, money eludes you. But if you want to attract money, you must first understand what it is. Second is to understand that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? And I talked about this, right? And it's the idea of Newton's third law. Newton's third law dictates that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. This happens in the natural world, but it can also happen and apply itself in our life. So people want uphill, we talk about people wanting uphill results with downhill habits. You can't have that. You need to choose what you want to commit to, right? You're going to commit to a shitty life or a great life. But this idea that you can achieve certain results in your life without putting in the specific requirements of work, right, is impossible. There are recipes and ingredient lists to a phenomenal meal, right? And in order for you to achieve that phenomenal meal, which you can, anybody can, right? Anybody can cook Gordon Ramsay's recipes. They might not be able to do it just as well because it requires experience, time, right? These are all factors that play into it. But you can follow a recipe and you might stumble your way to it, but you might have a similar product, right? You might have a similar outcome, and success leaves clues. And if success leaves clues, you need to figure out what that ingredient list is for your life and actualize it. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, which means that if you can control the actions, and if you know that you're going to receive an equal proportion for that which you put in, you're going to be able to measure your outcome, right? So focus on the input, and life will give you in proportion that output. People want the output. People want the money. People want the cars. But nobody wants to put in the fucking work. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to put in the hours. Nobody wants to train. Yeah. Focus on the input and let the universe focus on the output, because by natural law, that will happen.
So if you're in the gym, the harder you lift and the harder you try and the more dedicated you are, the better you're going to look.
Why would you cheat? Why would you cheat yourself, right? Why would you cheat yourself from achieving your fullest potential? And it's not just going to the gym, right? It's developing a healthy lifestyle, because you can go to the gym, go home and stuff yourself with 2 fucking pizzas and drink some Mountain Dew. Doesn't mean you're doing anything, because it's not about getting jacked. It's about living a healthy lifestyle, becoming autonomous, and it's about lifespan longevity. Dude, I don't want to be like fucking Ronnie Coleman, who won Mr. Olympia and had all these great achievements, and now the dude can't walk because his legs don't function, right? That to me is not success, right? To him, he's a gym freak, like the dude's a savage, mad respect, but I don't want to live that way. I want to live till I'm 120 years old. Oh my goodness, this guy's insane. Well, maybe I know something that you don't, motherfucker. Maybe I think that humans can actually live till they're 120 because I've done my research. So I need to live my life in accordance to achieving lifespan longevity, which is the second idea, which we talk about.
For wealth.
And then spirituality, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Spirituality, as you become more prominent in this fleeting world, you will have the temptation to become prideful. You will have the temptation to become arrogant and self-conceited, thinking that you've achieved what you've achieved by yourself. There's a reason why the poor people worship God more than the rich people. And it doesn't have to do with because the rich people are better or whatever. It has to do with they're checked, right? At all times they're checked by the system, or they're checked by life that, damn, like they're not that great, right? You're not that much. You're worth shit. Because that's the reality. We're all dust. We're not worth anything. We're not that great. And if you can come with humility, right, into this understanding that you're not hot shit, right? Like humble yourself. Then you can have a relationship with God that is based on being teachable. And a lot of people have an interesting relationship with God, and it's a relationship that once again is based off of what they've been told who God is, right? They haven't experienced God. Why? Because they don't care to experience God. If you want to experience God, you have to be intentional. And you can find God in nature, you can find God in books, you can find God in your interactions with other people, but you have to be willing to look for the truth. And in order for you to look for the truth, you have to be humble, because humility is what gives you the teachable attitude and the student's attitude in order to develop a spiritual maturity that is abnormal. The second one is you need consistency. Just like in your physical realm, the spiritual realm requires consistency, right? You have to consistently develop the spiritual side of your life in order for it to become strong. And when people are like, oh, Luke, how can I become like you? All these things are like, well, what do you mean become like you? Oh, well, you talk this way and you believe these things. I'm like, yes, well, you have to instill a life of discipline that you start adapting these habits and this way of life. And then inevitably it'll just become who you are. So I think people need to focus on being consistent. And I think people need to focus on having a teachable attitude and being humble. And if you don't humble yourself, the world and God will.